So, ladies and gentlemen, we have a breaking counterintelligence information coming straight out of Mali. This information is straight up a counterintelligence success on the side of the farmers of Mali. Welcome back, beautiful people. Yeah, it's been 24 hours of forensic analysis that I've been investigating, and I just caught my first break. So I said, okay, let me check on my people. And for those messages I've not replied, guys, I'm going to reply when I'm free. Okay. So let's talk about what happened in Mali. There was a comment that came through yesterday. So when we saw this message, me and my team, we actually looked at this message because this message, we had it in the utmost priority because it related to a news we wanted to break to you. That was at last week, but we didn't break the news because we felt like, okay, maybe, let's just wait a minute. Let's see what happens. Let's see if this news is really legit or is not legit. So what happened? There was a festival in Bamako last week. Bamako in Mali. Beautiful people. I mean, so this festival, a lot of people actually graced this festival. It was a beautiful festival. Muslims were celebrating and all of that. But in the midst of those beautiful people that were enjoying themselves, praising God, doing whatever they love to do best, some very bad people were in their midst from the Tuareg ethnic clan. And these people were a representative of the Azawad militias, and they were secret agents. What was their job? Their job was to come to this celebration, gather a lot of intelligence, and relate the intelligence back to some of their operatives that carry out the very, very bad things. You understand what I'm saying? So they actually came there and they pretended to be sheep merchants. Mali, you sell sheep, you sell cows, you sell camels. Mali is a very, very prehistoric place with a very, very good cultural heritage. But unfortunately for those people, the intelligence information had already gone beforehand that they were coming. They were there to observe what dignitary was going to come, what political honorable was going to be there. And they had plans, they had targets they were there for. And who knows, they might even have more, not so very good plan. Maybe, what they do, where you have a large gathering, maybe do some mujahideen stunt. But unfortunately for them, the farmers were there, the African Corps were there, some of the gendarmerie brigades from the 73 Battalion was there too. So it was intelligence against intelligence, and some troops from the farmers were there too. So unfortunately for some of those guys, the African Corps were there on ground. So a lot of people would have been asking, why are the African Corps or Wagner PMC still in Mali? Why are they there? For missions like this, because according to the information we had, it was actually the African Corps that countered this intelligence information from the terrorists, you know what I mean? So they got there, and as the whole festivity was going on, they were noticing some uneasiness among these ship missions. And according to what we heard, one of them started picking a call and he wasn't using a regular phone. You know, like me, I'm using a smartphone, I'm using iPhone, I'm using, but these guys were using satellite phones. Satellite phones are not something very common. I mean, I've been walking the street today, I've not seen one satellite phone. But satellite phones, we know the people that use satellite phones just so that their location, their GPS don't get leaked. But yeah, so when they noticed this guys using this phone in real time and he was speaking to some people and they didn't know the people he was speaking to, but eyes were already on him. But the security agencies did not know that these guys still had other guys who were also studying what was going on and were relating information back to some people who I think were not so good people in real time. But what happened after that was that they closed this guy up just to listen to some of the things he was saying, but not like breaching his privacy. But immediately they were getting closer to him, this guy started shifting away, and at some point he started running. And running, that's not really a good sign. They ran after him, they caught him. So when they caught him, the satellite phone dropped. And by the time the satellite phone dropped, they were hearing things like, all this yalla, this, and that, and they were able to find out that these were actually bad people. So what they did was they took them under the command of the African Corps. They took them to some, undisclosed place, interrogate and investigate them. While they were investigating them, they did not say anything, right? They were legit. But according to the information we had, at some point, the African Corps, you know, um, guys had to call the Gatia militias, who were equally, a militia organization that were pro-government, that, they support the good things that the Malians are doing. And it was these guys that were able to extract this information from them. Who they were working for, they were able to, who they were returning the information back to. But by the time they checked to the location, that the person that was getting the intelligence from them was nobody was there again. The buildings were burned down, everything was already evacuated. Nobody laid claim to those people, nobody pressed any charge, no family spoke up. So what happened? Everybody was confused. I wanted to break this information to you guys, but since nobody actually turned up to speak about this, guys, I said, okay, let me hold this information until somebody actually come up. But guess what? Yesterday, this man, Nicholas Normand, actually came out and he said some things about these guys. In fact, this guy did not only make claim to these people, he actually spoke directly to the African culture. He called them Wagners and he said they have started harming civilians and all of that. But based on the information we received, he was actually speaking on behalf of the guys that were caught about a week ago, right? Demanding for their release and alleging that the Wagner Corps are attacking civilians. Guys, this is very, very deep. Now, when I searched who is Nicholas Normand, I thought he was just a normal person that was just, fighting for the right of the civilians. This guy happened to be a former French ambassador to Mali. Is there a connection right there? Sometimes I sit down, I try to tell myself that France is not really taking anything from Mali. I am trying to convince myself that France is so rich. France is a superpower, so superpower to the point that they don't need Mali. What would they need Mali for? But ladies and gentlemen, the more I try to convince myself, the more I even try to convince you, the more the evidences keep staring our face that really, really, France does not want these people to go. And the honest truth at this point is France cannot live without money. A lot of pensioners are being owed. The economy of France is dropping by the day. At this point, I don't know what France wants from Mali. Mali has a new friend. Our friendship with France is done and dusted. But look at this man now, Nicholas Normand. So the question is, when has the imperialists become so humane to the point that they now care about what happens to the civilians of Mali? Can't you remember? The same people that call us this and that are beginning to, not only like in their country, they are beginning to care about what is happening here. I think there is no French media in Mali. There are no French NGOs. There are no French agency. So the question is, how did Mr. Nicholas Normand get the information in real time? How did he get the information about those arrests that were made? Maybe Nicholas Normand, Mr. Nicholas Normand, can lead us to whoever sent them what they wanted, what they were trying to do. But man, this is just a signal that nobody should be sleeping. You can't be caught off guard. You can't be complacent at this point. Because I can tell you, a lot of good things is going on in Mali. A lot of procurement is going on, economic independence. Mali is nationalizing some gold reserves. Companies that get employment is going on. But at the end of the day, I got to tell you something. France is not sleeping. France is not sleeping. We are equally not sleeping. You can see, even though I'm a forensic scientist, I am equally working doing the investigative journalism to make sure that I uncover some of these things. If you've studied what we do on this channel, it's more of discovering and uncovering. What do you think? Do you think Mr. Nicholas Normand is just an innocent person fighting for the rights of the civilian, you know, good or bad guy? Or do you think Mr. Nicholas Normand is an accomplice in this deep case, this deep counterintelligence operation that's going on? Ladies and gentlemen, tune in because in the coming weeks, we might surprisingly even be able to uncover so much more information for you guys. Be my guests. But guys, lovely people, I miss you. But I'm in the last 15 hours of the forensic investigation I'm doing, and I hope we will be able to get a very conclusive result. I love you. I've missed you all. Thank you for making my day because my day is already made just by talking to you guys. It's your boy 7200. No, it's our community 7200 signing out enough said. But before I go, you know why we pick 72? There are a lot of androids out there, right? But we picked our community to be a special community 72. Nobody's taking that away from us. I love you guys. Thank you for watching. God bless you.